Tom here. Today I want to review Ty West's recent slasher movie X, distributed by A24, starring Mia Goth and the guy that was in The Ring and the cinematic masterpiece Torque. If you want to talk about horror, I spent 2 hours of my life watching Torque.
Want some of this, bitch? Oh, I thought you never asked.
I saw this maybe 5 or 6 days ago in the theater. And I thought it was kind of funny. There was a group of 14-year-old girls in front of me trying to get in, but the ticket booth person told them they needed a guardian. Oh, I don't think you should necessarily bring your kid to a movie like this. Or, a gaggle of 14-year-old girls. And that is the correct phylum terminology, I think. Gaggle. It's like a murder of crows. I mean, right off the top, I do think it's kind of stupid that they just called the movie X. It's like 20 years from now, when you're trying to find it on IMDb, it's just going to be an absolute nightmare. I mean, it's like, is it about the band X, the punk band, the LA punk band, the Australian punk band X, the other movie's called X, The Hat X, is it a straight edge documentary? Is it the slasher sequel to W? Is George W. Bush going to pop out from the swamp with an axe? Call your movie something that actually sticks in your mind, that maybe draws people in. Like, could have called it like Side Boob Slaughter Barn. You call your movie Side Boob Slaughter Barn, I'm rushing into that multiplex, baby. Anyway, plot-wise, it's about a porno movie cast and crew. The location they're shooting at is owned by an old creepy couple. And because it's a slasher movie, so they get killed off one by one, of course. The funny thing is the movie is called The Farmer's Daughters, I think. It's called The Farmer's Daughter. There's actually a porn movie called The Farmer's Daughters, plural. But I don't think it has anything to do with this one. But the funny thing is that the spoken word guru Spalding Gray has a role in that movie. So fun fact, I guess.
I press that green button, it activates that rocket. It goes up out of its waterproof silo, up, 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 up. I get a fucking erection, man, every time I think of firing a rocket at those Russians.
And that sounds like super exploitative material. Like we want to make a slasher and we're just going to force in some boobs any way we can. But one of the things I really like about the movie is that they use that porn shoot to really explore some sexual underpinnings. It's actually worked into the plot and the characters. For example, the lead character played by Mia Goth, she sees the movie shoot as her path to superstardom. The killer sees the porn shoot as kind of an affront against them. They were not successful, and this is kind of rubbing that in their face. And then there's the whole sexual repression angle. Because a lot of slasher movies, they have kind of a psychosexual, sexual repression thing kind of underneath. And one thing I really liked about this movie is that it was really part of the plot and the characterization. It's set in 1979, but they're not trying to do like a grindhouse pastiche thing like the Grindhouse, the Planet Terror would be a good example of that. They kind of treated it like a movie that would have been made in 1979, but you have the material. It would be an exploitation movie, but it's directed like kind of more an American rural art house kind of movie. Monty Hellman or Dennis Hopper. Some of the editing choices are obviously an homage to Easy Rider. And also Toby Hooper, specifically Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Eaten Alive. There's definitely just some shots that are kind of influenced by Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So I really like that it treats the material realistically and seriously. I'm a big slasher guy, so I've seen all the original stuff, and there's a tendency in a lot of, ones over the past 20 years, it's all self-referential humor. Like, hey, we have the fat guy throwing out one line, campy one-liners, or maybe sort of a Troma-esque approach to it, which is fine. But when you're doing that, it kind of kills the suspense. Like, you don't care if the fat kid gets his head ripped off, if it's like a comic character. But this movie does a really good job of setting up the characters and the motivations, and a big part of the original slasher movies is just kind of the cat and mouse aspect of it. And one thing a lot of people make fun of in these movies is like the stupid reasons why someone would go into the barn or go into the basement, or stuff doesn't make sense in terms of character-wise why people would be doing these things. For example, the director character, he's upset that his girlfriend wants to act in the movie, so he kind of leaves the group rather than like, hey, I hear a weird sound in the woods, maybe it's a raccoon, I'm gonna investigate because I like to hang out with raccoons in the woods, and then he gets his spine ripped out or whatever. Maybe I'm just kind of a purist, which is a ridiculous thing to say about something like this, but I like that it really is of the original slasher movies, and those things like the psychosexual themes, the cat and mouse stuff, the gore, of course. Obviously, you do have some nudity, so if that's important to you, it's hard because with slasher movies, there's not like a ton of ways to approach it. If you want to take it seriously, if you want to do some crazy thing like Jason X and he's in space, or but if you wanted to stay true to the form, it's pretty restrictive. But I think this movie does a good job of innovating, is a strong word, but kind of adding something to it with the movie within a movie, and the erotic part of it actually making sense within the plot. It's kind of similar to Ty West's his previous film House of the Devil, in terms of it's a genre throwback that's filmed like it took place during that era. But I think this movie does a lot better job in terms of suspense building, and just in terms of having interesting character and plot dynamics throughout. I give it a hearty thumbs up, and it's a pretty thick thumb, so you can count this as 1.5 thumbs up. So I hope this movie inspires more kind of salacious exploitation movies that are done seriously, you can actually see in the theater. So R-rated. You can bring your kid if you're a horrible parent, and but hey, at least you're not just watching another Marvel movie. All right, thank you. If you saw the movie, you can let me know what you thought of it in the comments if you want to. That's it.